So, hey guys, I hope you all are doing well. I'm super excited to host our session on fundamentals of Azure. It's my pleasure to introduce our expert session, expert speaker Antriksh Pratham. Even his name is limitless, and he's Google Cloud speaker, 4 into Microsoft certified, and he's Microsoft certified trainer and a multi-phase personality having expertise in cloud computing. Over to you, Antriksh.
Hi. Thank you so much, Lakshit, for that amazing introduction. That was really great. And I hope that you all are super excited for this session. We will try to discuss about fundamental concepts. We will also see how you can use Azure for building some great projects and how you can get certifications, level up yourself in Azure. So maybe what you can do is, can you please tell a little bit about yourself, where you are joining in from in the comments? Guys, let us make this interactive, okay? I understand. Yes, SGT University. Anyone else?
Our most of the student is from University, SGT University,
There is one
SGT
from Delhi, I guess.
Delhi. Shreya is from Delhi, SGT University again.
Okay. Anyways, yes, great to have all of you here. Yes. So, yep, I guess now we can start. So maybe can you tell that how much you are aware about Azure? What things you know about Azure? Or else you are all complete beginners in Azure? Hey folks, yeah, of course, yes. Please tell us whether you are beginner or intermediate. Even if you don't know anything, you can just say it. I just want to know what things you are already aware of.
Yes, so people are saying like they are no worries. We have the perfect speaker here, right here. He will give you beautiful insights about the cloud computing and all.
Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem. I would really like to help as much as possible. So yes, nothing beginners. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yes, thank you so much. So I guess I will just share my screen and we will start. Sorry.
So intermediate peoples are also there, beginners are also there. A lot of folks are from SGT University beginners. Lakshya is saying beginners. Okay, Tejal is saying beginners. Manish is saying SGT University. Okay, perfect. So I hope guys the
Great,
screen is
great.
visible to you. So
So I guess, yes, Lakshit, you have done this part. You have introduced me in a very beautiful way. And we have also got some great student introductions. So we will just directly jump into the content that we have over here. And yeah, so the biggest question for today, what is cloud computing? Maybe since you have at least you knowing about cloud computing, I guess, can you tell what you think cloud computing is? Anything, whatever you think, you can share.
Yes, guys, whatever you know, like what you heard of. Okay, we are for cloud. Okay, Harsh is saying.
Don't copy what is there on the slide. We are for Apple. What does that mean? Storing and
Okay,
manipulating data online through servers. No idea. Yeah, yeah, okay. Storing data on a cloud server. Great. Anyone else? If you know Hindi, you can use it. Uh, okay, I will use Hindi also. Yes, sure, sure. Cloud computing is the delivery of different services through the internet, including data. अरे कहाँ से copy कर लिया? See, tell what is there on your mind. If you tell like that, it will most probably look like you have copied from somewhere. Anyways, so yes, I will try to use Hindi also so that you are all able to understand. See, cloud computing, if we were to put it in a way, yes, it is someone else's computer, but of course you have to also understand that you are getting something out of it. You are getting computing services, you are getting innovation, you are getting different kind of applications that the people have developed. Now let us say that if we talk about what was there earlier, so long back, whatever the work was there, the people, they had to do manually, they had to configure the servers. It used to take a lot of time. Let us say if any problem occurs, they also have to fix it manually. But now, what has happened is there are enterprises who have invested billions of dollars into R&D, and they have made these services or these products for us to use. By using these products, you are able to make your life easier. You are able to do some very basic kind of things very easily. So let us say if we talk about one of these things, which is compute, you are able to get compute services, you are able to get a virtual machine, you are able to get some different kind of services which we will be talking about. When we are talking about networking, you are able to get a secure network, you are able to get low latency, and you are also able to get a distributed network, which is one of the most important things. Scale is one of the most important things that comes into factor, because if even if let us say you manage to do everything on your own, you cannot scale on your own. Scaling is a major headache, and storage and analytics, and these are some of the things that you get. Of course there are more, we will try to explore as much as possible. So yes, these are some of the different types of cloud computing. So we will first be discussing, which is obviously public cloud, which is the most famous one. I think all of you are already aware. Any kind of cloud provider, any kind of hosting provider is using these services. They are providing you to these services to you for some kind of cost, and you are accessing those services. You are using them through a secure network like the internet or any kind of place you are accessing them, and you are using those services. Now, this is private cloud. Now, what exactly happens is, let us say that you have some very secure data. Now, cloud is secure, but let us say that you are having a hospital, or you are having a bank, or you are having some kind of place where you can't take a single chance that the data will go somewhere else. So some enterprises, they go for private cloud. Now in private cloud, what happens is they are hosting everything on their own, and they are responsible for the services, they are responsible for the data, they are responsible for everything. It does not provide any kind of access to the users that are outside the organization. Now, well, this is also a good point. Like you are getting enhanced security, but it is not the best way. So what the enterprises will be doing, what the companies will be doing, they will be using hybrid cloud. Now hybrid cloud is what exactly most people are doing nowadays. It is a combination of public and private cloud, and in that, what you are getting the benefit of public cloud, and you are getting the security of private cloud. So let us say if you are having any kind of secure kind of things which you don't want to share with outside world, you can use private cloud. For other things, you can just use public cloud. So yeah, uh, the cloud service providers, they operate on a consumption based model. Okay, so what exactly is a consumption based model? You are only paying for the resources, for the services that you are using. and it helps in a lot of ways. Like, let us say at the end of the day you are getting a smaller bill, which is of course the most important thing. You are getting billed on your usage. Whatever things you are using, that is only billed to you. It is not like, you are not being billed for a huge amount. Like, let us say, even if you are not using, let us give the example of a laptop, right? You are not using it for the complete day. You are using it for, let us say, 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, not more than that. So you are getting billed only for the specific amount of time that you are using it for. And yes, this is also one more important thing. Since you are using it for a specific time, it is much easier to predict the cost. You are able to analyze, how much you are spending, how to reduce that spend, where your spend is going. So like that kind of things are possible because it is already known when you are using and for how much time you are using. And this is the different types. These are the different models that of cloud. First one is infrastructure as a service, IaaS. Maybe, do you want to share what other models you are aware of? There are three, right? I don't know. There can be two also. Who knows? If anyone wants to share, they can just go ahead and share. If they are aware about any of the points I'm telling, you can just say that, yes, I am aware, and these are the different services. Okay. So first one is infrastructure as a service, where you are getting some IT infrastructure like servers, virtual machines, storage, networking, whatever it is, and it is in pay as you go model. So here you can see that different kind of services that are available to you, and these are physical services, but these you can access through the internet and for a reduced cost. Second one will be platform as a service. Now, what happens in platform as a service? That it is providing an environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications. And important part is you don't have to focus on the infrastructure. Everything is taken care of by you. So let us say if you are talking about managed services can come somewhat in this. So I will explain what those are shortly. But basically you are getting the infrastructure, but you don't have to have the headache of managing that infrastructure. Everything is managed for you. You only have to focus on your work. Apart from that, the third one, which is software as a service. Now, software as a service is the best one. Well, depending upon your usage, of course, but everything is provided to you. Your application is provided, your core infrastructure is provided. Only thing, your work, you have to focus on what you want to do. So let us say that Office 365, email, calendar, all these things, they will come under SaaS. Now SaaS is used by a lot of companies, because it makes their work easier. But there is one very important problem that you might have understood over here. If you have not, then I will tell, which is that you are also losing a lot of control over here. You are not able to control anything. And yeah, so this is it. Now see, here you are seeing what things you are able to manage, and here you are seeing what things the cloud provider is managing for you. Now let us say in on premise, right, we were discussing about private cloud. Why the enterprises were going for private cloud? Because they are getting some more control over there. Now as you go to public cloud, you are going from here to here, you are seeing that the amount of control that you have, it is getting less and less. Now here you are getting this much control. These many things you can control. You can control your data, applications, runtime, operating system. But if you're going to platform as a service, you can only control data, you can only control applications. In software as a service, only data. So like that, it is a what you can say, it is a gamble. So if you want to put it in that way, because here it is a very big headache also to manage everything, but you're also getting a lot of control here. If you go to the other end, you don't have to take any headache. But the problem over here, you also lost all of the control. If let us say if you want to use a specific specific virtual machine or specific operating system, you can't do that because it is already made for you. There is you don't have any control over it. And yes, Ashutosh, I think you were telling more security. Yes, that is also one of the things. And yeah, this is also the same points actually. So I will not go through this you know it is IaaS is flexible. PaaS is a little bit less flexible because it focuses on application development. SaaS is, it is like users that are paying for software based upon like a subscription model or something. I guess now we will come to the discussion about Azure specifically. So, uh, regions are there in Azure, and regions are there. There are 60 plus regions which are there in 140 plus countries. You can see a map over here. I think this probably may not be the most updated map, but this is more or less accurate. What exactly it is? So a region is more or one or more data center which are there very close together in one place. And the basic thing is that inside a region, there is very less latency. If you are hosting any kind of services within the region, it is helping you to reduce latency. And of course, let us say if you have any kind of IT rules, like let us say we are having our own IT rules, right? Yes, Ashutosh, I don't think Amazon Prime is a example for SAS. I am really sorry. Actually, it is a completely different thing. I mean, you can call it SAS in a way, but its application is different, right? So yeah. I'm sorry. So see here, if you are seeing like, let us say we are having our own IT rules, right? So in India, we are having West India, Central India, South India. So like that, let us say if an company wants to store their all their information in India only, they will have to use these regions. But if they are okay with storing in other places, depending upon, well, our rules are more strict. I guess our IT rules, they are more strict, and nowadays they are becoming even more strict, which is quite good. So that is exactly where regions come into play. We also have region pairs. Now, what is region pair? Now, region pair is something which is two regions, but they are having some separation, 300 miles of separation between them. Now, what does it help with? It is helping you with redundancy. It is helping you with more stability for your application. And let us say if any kind of problem occurs with your application, you are able to recover it very fast. Like let us say if you are having your application in north central, and the north central US region is facing some problem, you can just access your same application from south central US also. That is only if you are using region pairs, of course. But yeah, that is the biggest advantage over here. Now let us say if you are talking about Microsoft also, so if any updates are there, if any management things are there, if they want to have any downtime, so usually if you are using region pairs, they will try to use only one region, so that in second region it is still working and your application doesn't go down. So because here also you can see India, yes, India South and India Central. Now maybe I can give UK West, UK South. Okay, so like that, different kind of examples are there over here. And these are some of the availability options. So depending upon the SLA. Now SLA, I guess I will not be able to explain. So maybe you can look it up. It is service level agreement. Let us say if you are negotiating with any kind of company for services, you will be telling them that I want it with high availability, but how much high availability, so let us say if you are using a single VM for your workload, lift and shift is when you are having your application in one place and you are taking it into a VM that is having 99.9% of SLA. But let us say if you are using availability zones, now uh, you are having 99.99% of SLA. Now you can also have multi-region, like region pairs, what we were talking about. Region pairs gives you complete redundancy, because let us say if any one region also goes down, it is more or less negligible. The factor is like, maybe 99.9999 or something like that. Because if one region completely goes down, you still have the other region, one complete region there to back you up. So yes, that is the different advantages. And here you can see disaster recovery is written over here. So that is also one of the reasons why you would like to use these different availability options or these different options to store host your application. Now we will be talking about availability zones, what exactly they are. So yes, here as we were talking, one of the best things about availability zone, they are protecting you against disaster recovery, any kind of downtime, any kind of failure in the data center. These are the different data centers that are there within the same region. Now in the same region also there are, like, let us say you are seeing over here, there are three different data centers available. So that is exactly what an availability zone is. Each data center is having their own independent system for power, for cooling, networking. Everything is separate, because let us say if any kind of problem occurs, you will still have the other data center working perfectly fine. They are having very low latency fiber optic private connection between them. So yeah, you can share information, but the only thing is, everything else is independent. They are having power, cooling, everything is independent. They are having separate connection to Azure, because it is there for helping you against downtime. Yes, please feel free to keep dropping your questions. We will try to take them from time to time, and I will try to answer as many questions as I can. So this is about Azure resources. Now we have different kind of resources. As you can see over here, we have got storage, we have got virtual machines, we have got networks, and different kind of resources for different kind of applications that you may be interested in. If you want virtual machine, we have got virtual machine. We have also got app service. We have got storage accounts. We have got SQL databases, virtual networks, and we have even got functions. I cannot say that I will cover all, but yeah, because it is actually quite a lot, I will try to cover as much as possible though. So this is about resource group. Now let us say if you are talking about resources, you will also need a grouping. So this is like a logical grouping of resources. It is a container. You can have a single unit, and resources can exist in only one resource group, but they can be there in different region, and they can be moved to different resource group, but they have to be there in one resource group when you are creating that. Okay. So any one kind of application can also utilize multiple resource group. Basically it is just a logical grouping. Okay. And here you can see web is there, the database is there, the VM, the storage, everything is there in one group. You can have like that, because it is helping you to understand, okay, this is some kind of logical grouping. If you want to create, you can use resource group for that. Now about subscription. Okay, so what is subscription over here? Now I guess since you were all giving example of Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all that, you can think about it in that way. It is not exactly the same thing, but you can think about subscription in the same way, because it is also a billing boundary for Azure. Because Azure is generating invoice or report or anything depending upon the subscription that you are using. It is also, you can consider it as an access control boundary, because let us say if you are having different kind of groups of people, different kind of departments, you can use subscription to control the access of those people to certain kind of resources. Here you are able to see a uh, brief or example over here. The main billing account is there. There are two billing profiles for two different departments. Then after that, there are different groups or different projects in that department. There is one invoice over here. That invoice is given to two subscription. Invoice, another invoice over here, and a few subscriptions over here. Like that, you can think. Now we also have management groups. Now the same way that we had resource groups over here for resources, management groups will also be there. Now management groups are there for Azure subscriptions. That is also like a logical grouping. It is dependent upon how diverse your organization is, how much more departments are there, how much big your organization is. As you can see over here, management group tree can have 6 levels of depth. Now one management group, second management group, like that you can have 6 levels of depth. Up to 10,000 management groups can be there in a single directory. Now this is just some information that is provided to you to be able to understand how much you can scale this. Okay. Now this is also an example over here through which you are able to understand, like, this is one resource group. These are the subscriptions, and there are different management groups for that. And using this, it is just a logical grouping. It is not compulsory for you to use management group or anything, but using that, you are able to make your work easier. You are able to manage everything easier. Now, this is also a very important thing that we should discuss about, which is multi-factor authentication. I guess nowadays you might be hearing about it a lot because everything is online. Everything is there for, available to everyone actually, which is quite a big problem to solve. Now, using multi-factor authentication, you are able to secure give some additional security to your existing things. Now, we are already having a username and password, but let us say if you want to add an additional layer, you want to secure your account even more, you can use multi-factor authentication. Now, this is the only thing that will apply not only to Azure but to other places also. Let us say if you are having a Gmail account, or you are having any kind of Google Cloud, or whatever it is, whatever account you are having, you should use multi-factor or two-factor authentication over there. Now, what exactly it is? Something like your username and password, something you possess, like let us say some kind of key or some kind of token or whatever it is, that will be used to determine something you are. So something you are, as in the person who is going to access a certain kind of resource or something. And yes, Azure Active Directory, I guess you all can tell about this because Active Directory is very popular. If you want, please share what you are aware about Active Directory. Guys, I'm waiting for all of your responses. What are you aware about Active Directory? Have you heard about it somewhere, or else have you used it somewhere? What if you have not used it, then also it's perfectly fine. You can say. No, yeah. So some people are saying no. Some people please say yes also. It will be very good. I don't have to explain then. uh, Anyways, okay. Everyone is saying no. Okay. So Azure Active Directory is Microsoft's cloud-based identity and access management service. Active Directory is used extensively by organizations. It is one of the reasons why Azure is so much popular. Basically, of course, it is nothing. It is just an authentication service, but it is a very strong kind of service, and Microsoft has developed it a lot. It is also able to use the on-premise data centers for any kind of on-premise solution like LDAP or whatever you are using. You can also use SSO, which is the most prevalent standard, the most modern standard, and you can manage everything in one place as long as it is Microsoft related, of course. You can manage Microsoft Teams, you can manage Azure, you can manage anything Microsoft related, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Office. Only condition being that it should be Azure to be able to manage using Active Directory. So yes, it is mostly used for B2B, but you can use it for B2C also. One of the other important things is device management. It is also helping you to manage your employee devices if you want to have any kind of policies for them, if you want to have any kind of restrictions, any kind of rules for your employees, you can enforce that by using Active Directory. So that is one of the reasons why it is becoming so much popular. It is a completely different and it is a vast topic, I guess. If I start to tell a lot about it, I mean, it will take a lot of time. The entire session can be about Active Directory itself because it is such a great service. Anyway, so slowly we will try to discuss about the different kind of services. I will try to take up as many services as I can. Now here we are talking about Azure Compute Services. Now there are some examples there in front of you. First one is virtual machines, and virtual machines is well, it is actually quite obvious. It is virtual machines. Uh, it is basically a compute service where you are able to get access to someone's computer, uh, not someone's computer actually. I'm so sorry. Otherwise, everyone will tell what is this. You are able to get access to servers, and you are able to do your work over there. And app services, it is a platform as a service offering where you are getting virtual machines, but you are also getting an additional abstraction on top of it. You don't have to focus on the management part. You can directly focus on your code, whatever you're building. Now container instances is the most important and the most exciting part, because nowadays everyone is getting excited about container service comes into play. Now, in a virtual machine, if you might understand, if you look at a laptop even, there is a lot of things that you probably may not want to use. In a phone, it is called as bloatware, right? Like let us say, um, if you are having some app that you can't uninstall, if you are having some kind of software that you can't uninstall, there is nothing you can do about it. The same thing goes for virtual machines. Virtual machine will be having a CLI interface. It will be having sometimes it can even have a desktop, like you can see over here. Azure Virtual Desktop is basically a virtual machine with a desktop attached to it. It is a lot of unnecessary software that is given to you. But in container, what exactly happens is you are only having the services that are required for your application. You are only having the specific things that are required. Rest everything is not there. So because of that, your application code becomes very small and your execution is much more faster. That's exactly what Azure Kubernetes service is, of course, because Kubernetes is container orchestration. It is used for containers, and Azure Kubernetes service is built upon the open source Kubernetes protocol. I guess if you want, you can read about Kubernetes also, which is once again a very vast topic. And I think for that, one day is also not enough. Kubernetes is actually quite exciting because it helps you to manage your tasks in a different way, in a distributed way. We will take that up also shortly. These are some of the languages that you can use with app services. So app services basically used for web apps and for APIs. You can use .NET Core, Node.js, Java, Python, PHP. These are some of the languages. And it is having, of course, the enterprise grade performance, enterprise grade security, and compliance requirement, which is managed by Azure for you. Dhruv is asking, is remote desktop a virtual machine? So yes, it is a virtual machine. It is just having a desktop attached to it. So as I was telling, like virtual machine is already having some extra stuff. Let us say if you want to use a user interface, if you just want to, for some reasons, or else just for making your work even more comfortable, you might need a desktop. That is exactly what Azure Virtual Desktop is. Now, yes, Azure containers. Actually, containers is quite an exciting and one of my favorite topics. Now, as you can see, lightweight virtualized environment that does not require any kind of management for an operating system, because it does not run an operating system in the real sense. Of course, it is still having an operating system. It is just so lightweight that it can respond very fast. Now, Azure Container Services is fun. It is a platform as a service offering. It is running a container in Azure, and you don't need to manage virtual machine or any kind of services. Everything is done by Azure for you. Now, Azure Kubernetes service, as I was telling, it is built upon the Kubernetes protocol. It is an open source protocol. It is used for distributed kind of architecture and for large volume of containers. Now, that is the most exciting thing about Kubernetes, right? Because in Kubernetes, if you have any kind of work, like let us say if I were to um, ask you all to write an essay for me, okay? And Chaitanya, I'm not really sure what your question means. Why are you asking AKS is better or AWS? Because, in fact, okay, Azure Kubernetes service, right? So Azure Kubernetes service is just a service, and AWS is a complete cloud provider. So there is no comparison over here. Regarding the second question, which is TeamViewer an example of virtual machine? Then no, these are all just services that are provided to you by companies. The same thing will be there for these other examples that you were giving earlier, which was Netflix and Amazon Prime. These are services. Please don't confuse them with cloud computing. Okay, they are using cloud, but they are not for you. They are just providing a service for you, and you are it is for free, right? I mean, you can pay, but you don't, so it is free. So yeah. Now, I hope I have been able to answer your question. And we will also talk about some of the networking services that are there in Azure. So networking is of course one of the most important things, because you are getting a lot of enhanced network, and you are getting a lot of things that you are getting a secure network over here. So Azure virtual network is the first thing. In Azure network virtual network, you are getting Azure resources that are able to communicate with each other, with the internet, with on-premise network, everywhere, wherever you want them to communicate, they are doing that. And without any kind of effort from you, everything, how to manage it, how to do that, is thought of by Azure for you. If we were to talk about VPN, okay, so virtual private network gateway, what exactly is that? So it is a way to connect your on-premise location to the public internet. Now, let us say if you are having some work on a server, on a data center, you want to connect it to Azure, you want to connect it to public internet in any kind of way, you can use a VPN gateway for that. Now, Azure Express Route is also something similar. The only thing is that it is facilitated by a connectivity provider of Azure. So, yeah, it completely depends upon what kind of requirements you have. Do you want a completely low latency service? You can manage the connection all by yourself. You can manage how to connect and all that. You can use VPN gateway. If you don't want to do that also, and just the speed is important to you, you can use Express Route, because someone else is managing the connection also for you. Anjali, yeah, basically it is server software. It is just that you're not having access to the server when you're using a virtual machine. I guess I will also have to go back. uh, okay. This is just an abstraction over a server. You don't need to use the server. You can just directly use a virtual machine, and you are having the same thing. Like a server is also having a lot of RAM, a lot of memory, a lot of storage that you probably won't even need, right? That is one of the most exciting parts about cloud computing. You are only getting what you exactly need. You don't have to pay for things that you don't even need, you don't even use. And I hope that answers your question. Also, hi Bundesh, how are you? So yes, now let us talk about storage services. Okay, so Azure Storage Services is there are many types. We have three over here, which we will be discussing. One is container storage, blob storage, which is optimized for storing massive amounts of unstructured kind of data, and such as let us say text data or binary data. We also have disk storage over here. Now, what is disk storage? Now, disk storage is when you are getting any kind of disk for your virtual machine, for your application, for any other kind of services to use. That is exactly what disk storage is. We also have Azure Files. Azure Files is using the server message block protocol, SMB protocol, which if you are aware about it, then you might be able to understand what exactly Azure Files is doing. It is basically network-based file sharing that is provided to you. Now, this is also a very interesting topic. Now, let us say if you are talking about storage, right? Because in storage, you are storing a lot of data and you are storing unstructured data, and depending upon the need of that data, you can also optimize yourself. Now let us say if you want to access your data frequently, or else you just want it for disaster recovery, you don't want to touch that data. So like that, different kind of options are available for you. Like for frequent access, you are having hot storage. For infrequent access, you are having somewhat cool storage. So for infrequent access, you have you can see that it is for 30 days. Now minimum is 30 days, of course. You can go ahead and have it for even more than 30, I guess. But then once again for 30, so 30, 30, 60. So like that, depending upon your specific use case, you have to understand, and you have to accordingly switch between access tiers. You have to optimize yourself. Now let us say if you are storing something completely for disaster recovery, you don't want it for maybe 3 4 months or something like that. So for 180 days you are getting archive storage. Archive storage is for rarely accessed storage. Now in archive storage, the important thing is you are getting paid for the access that you are for each time that you are accessing. So it is more better if you are using it for infrequent access. And I guess serverless, since everyone was talking a lot about SAS services, I guess this might interest you, because serverless is more or less the same thing. And so, okay, we are having Azure Functions. Azure Functions is one thing. We are also having Azure Logic Apps. Now, Azure Functions is event-based code that is running your service, and you don't have to care about the infrastructure that is there. Only you have to care about your code, and the one condition, of course, that you need to have an event. Like, let us say if this happens, you want this to happen. One of the best applications of Azure Functions, I guess. I don't know if you might want to do it. If you want to, have some birthday wishes for your friends, right? You can use Azure Functions for that. So I guess I will tell you how to create a free account. You can go ahead after this session and you can schedule birthday wishes for your friends. Okay. So that is one of the ways that you can use Azure Functions. Now, Azure Logic Apps is also a very interesting thing, because Azure Logic Apps, you can use it for automating any kind of process, any kind of small task, and you are able to do it automatically without any kind of interruption. If there is any repetitive kind of things that you are doing, now instead of doing it repetitively and probably getting bored, maybe you can just use Azure Logic Apps and make everyone's life easier. I guess, yes, CI/CD. This is also, I think, a very interesting topic for all of you. And if you all want to share about this, if you all want to talk about DevOps, what is DevOps, please go ahead and share it. Does anyone want to tell what is DevOps, what is CI/CD, what you think is CI/CD? Continuous integration and continuous deployment. So, okay, so DevOps is basically, well, it is the combination of two things, which is development and operations. Now, let us say if you're developing any kind of application, and what exactly happens is you write the code. I guess this is what happens in companies. If you are, some of you are working, you might probably understand this, and you are having an application that you wrote, right? You will go to the operations team, you will ask them to deploy it. But what happens is, let us say that the operations team is facing some kind of issue. Some legacy code is getting broken because of it, and you are not able to deploy. That creates a very big problem. Okay, and that is where DevOps comes into the picture. So DevOps is, well, you can consider it as a combination of the best parts of development and operations, and by using certain kind of tools, you are able to, do the deployments yourself. You are able to understand what will work, what will not work. You are able to orchestrate things. You are able to make some pipelines, and you are able to minimize the time that it takes for you to deploy any kind of application. Now here you are seeing Azure DevOps. As you can see, it is a collaboration tool. It is having pipelines, it is having Kanban board, it is having cloud based testing. Everything is provided in one place to you. Of course, GitHub, I guess, even if you have not heard about cloud, you probably may have heard about GitHub. So quickly, if you can, yes or no, if you have heard of GitHub. Guys, yeah, yes. Okay, great. So Narendra has heard. What about others? Ashutosh has also heard. Great, great. Nishita, Tushar, since family. Okay, since family. Anyway, so okay. I guess then, yeah, thank you so much for making my session easier. I don't have to explain about GitHub. But basically, I will just tell for the others who are not aware, it is a version control system. It is helping you to manage any kind of source code that you are having, and it is also helping you to manage any kind of bugs, any kind of issues. And by using it, you also have GitHub Actions. Now, GitHub Actions is quite an interesting thing. I will try to show, if possible, what GitHub Actions does. But basically, it is helping you to automate your GitHub code, and you are able to deploy from within GitHub as itself. Now, I guess we are also having some database services over here. So depending upon, what kind of database you need, what kind of access you, what kind of, work you are doing in that database, you can accordingly have different kind of databases. So I will just quickly go through, since we are a little bit short of time over here. First one is Azure Cosmos database, and it is a globally distributed database, and that is able to scale at a global level and elastically. Azure SQL database is a relational database. It is based upon Microsoft SQL Server. We are also having Azure database for MySQL. It is a fully managed MySQL database. Now here you are able to appreciate a very important difference. Now what is Azure SQL database? Here you have to manage MySQL. But if you are using Azure database for MySQL, Azure is managing for you. So I guess this is a very important difference that you can start to appreciate a little bit. Now Azure database for PostgreSQL, it is also a relational database, but only instead of Microsoft SQL Server, it is using the PostgreSQL database engine. Now depending upon your needs, depending upon what exactly you want, and you can use it. Yes, so this is, I guess I have covered this managed instance of SQL, where you don't have to think about how to manage the SQL. Everything is managed by Azure. Now, if you are an enterprise, you can even have Azure Hybrid benefit, which is used for getting some discount rate on SQL managed instance. This is also one of the most interesting parts, big data and analytics. A little bit short on time, otherwise I would really have liked to cover this as much as possible. Azure Synapse Analytics, it is a data warehouse. You can use it for storing your data. You can use it for doing operations on your data, for understanding about your data, and gaining some insight from that data. HD Insight is an open source analytics service. It is meant for enterprises only, because they have large volumes of data. Azure Databricks is also a great service. It is based upon Apache Spark. Once again, another open source based service. Now Databricks is using Spark, and it is also an analytics service from Azure. What is database? Oh, okay. Um, I'm so sorry. Is SQL a cloud? Oh, okay, okay. I guess I saw your question. If you want to store your data, you will store it at least somewhere, right? And depending upon, if you don't, these are just different kind of ways that you can store. So you can store it in a relational way, which is by using SQL. If you want to use PostgreSQL, you can do that. And you can even use Cosmos database. That is also one of the examples. There are more, of course, but since we are restrained by time and I cannot tell you about all of the topics, I will try to reduce it a little bit. It is basically a way to store. We are also having storage services, yes, but along with storage services, we are also having database services. Database services, you can, yes, one of the best ways to think about this storage service here, you are seeing unstructured kind of data. Okay, I think this will help to answer your question. Yes, Narendra has answered. Storage service is for unstructured data. SQL is for more structured kind of data, whichever you are having. That's great. That's great. It's great to know, Narendra. And yes, once again, artificial intelligence, machine learning. These are also some of the interesting topics which everyone will be interested about, because it is the talk of the town, it is the talk of the year, even decade perhaps, because everyone is talking about it. Azure machine learning cloud based service to help you develop, train and deploy machine learning models. Cognitive services, if you want any kind of hearing, any kind of speaking, any kind of understanding, you can use Azure cognitive service. Azure bot service, well, it is for, as the name says, you can have as many bots as you want by using Azure bot service. They can have enterprise grade and intelligent bots. I guess we are slowly coming to the end. Azure marketplace is there now. Let us say that you are like me. Oh, who wants Jarvis? Yeah, who wants Jarvis? Yes, that is one of the best parts about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So yeah, who all want to see some kind of sentient AI? Even though there is a lot of time, but surely we will have in the coming few years AI which is actually able to understand what you say and what you tell it. Until AI is not able to understand what you actually mean, the job of developers like me, like Lakshit, we are all safe over here. So yeah, Skynet. Yeah, first wait for AI, man. First wait for Javas, then we will think about Skynet. So, anyways, I guess that is all. If I were to, sorry. Yeah. Uh, Jarvis is good, Skynet. Today we got the chance to learn a lot from you. Yes, thank you so much. And okay. So apart from that, can you please tell what other questions you have? I will try to answer the questions as much as possible. I will try to go through them. Guys, please let us make this interactive. If you have any questions, if you want to ask anything, just go ahead and ask. I will try to answer. Um, any questions, Ashutosh? Why we are not aware about Azure? Oh, Chetna is telling. Yes. Virtual machine is used. What is virtual machine? Please focus. What is the difference between ADS and Yeah, so I guess since you were telling why we were not aware about Azure, very good question. Um, Now you are aware, right? You are knowing at least some of the things, and I hope that you learned a lot of things. You are able to.
So hey Antrix, one thing I just wanted to like, if you can, if you can share your Twitter handles, your LinkedIn profile, everything, so that people can connect with you, that would be way better if you can share.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Actually, I was also going to share some good resources. I will try to put them also. So this is one drive link that I created for all of you. Lakshit, can you please share the drive
Okay,
link?
so it's just private. Can you please make it public? Right now it's just private.
Oh, yes, yes, of course, of course. My Okay, share. Should be shared. Knowledge should not be private. I am so sorry.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No worries. Okay, so
Can
he's
you check
just
once
posted.
again?
Let me see. Till then, you can just take the doubts of the people who are saying, okay, it's perfect, perfect,
Yeah,
it's working.
actually, some people were asking, how. See my question, please, Ashutosh Kumar. What is the future of cloud? Because in future, सबका replacement आ जाएगा. Oh my God.
This is this is gonna
So
take a
as I was
long.
telling. Yeah, yeah. This is going to take a little bit long, but what is disk storage? Is this like cloud storage? Cloud cannot be replaced. I don't think I can. So maybe I can answer next question also. So what is disk storage? Disk storage, as I was telling, you are using virtual machines, right? Now, virtual machine is having a disk inside of it because it is an actual server that is given to you. In order to store it, you will need to use disk storage. I hope that answers your question. And why do companies charge us for storage? Narendra had asked, man, nothing is free over here. And it is a very long discussion. Yes, as Lakshit was telling, if we start to talk about it, this will go for like, let us say, 2 hours or something. And the discussion will still not end, but it is quite an interesting discussion over here.
I can we
The
can
basic
just
point is
discuss it
nothing
in
is
our next Twitter space. We can discuss this topic. This is amazing, right?
Yeah. So why do we need cloud computing? Oh man, did you join late? Uh, नहीं बताया मेरा आंसर अरे okay, okay, fine, fine, wait, I will come back to your question. What is future of cloud computing? Well, cloud is quite exciting actually. If you talk about the future, let the present be over first, because in present cloud is developing, and there are a lot of exciting things that are coming, so super excited to see how that turns out. But for now, even enterprises are able to do some of the basic things. At least there are still a lot of roadblocks, there are still a lot of challenges. And oh, thank you so much for sharing. And maybe you can share LinkedIn also. Right.
I have already shared your LinkedIn even.
Okay,
So
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
guys,
Thank you so much. Please feel free to
uh,
connect with me.
Mrs. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, please feel free to connect with me so that you are able to get as many sessions, as many different information about cloud computing as possible. If you connect with me on Twitter, I also host weekly Twitter spaces. It is not video, you cannot see me, but you can at least hear me, and I will try to answer all of your questions. It is weekly actually, so that is one thing. And maybe, yes, I guess just one more link if you can share with everyone. There are some links in the drive folder as well. This is about GitHub Education Pack. So if you are not aware about Azure, if you want to use Azure for yourself, you can just activate GitHub Education Pack. The instructions are there over there in the link, and you can get some credits to explore Azure for yourself. So, are you our teacher now? No, don't call me my teacher. I will not do. I will not talk with you then. You can maybe call me as a friend or something. AWS, oh man,
Another controversy.
Chaitanya, please don't ask that question, man. This is the end of the session. If you ask that question, it is a very interesting discussion actually. So maybe I will put this to everyone who is there in the chat box. What do you think, AWS or Azure or Google Cloud?
What you will prefer,
Which
guys?
one do you like?
AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. I guess they will
You
go
can say
with Google
others
Cloud
also. You
as
don't have to say only Azure.
yes. I guess most of the people will go with Google Cloud as they are giving so many swags and all these things.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Google Cloud, yeah, Ayush is there.
Yeah, it's see,
पहले
we
इस्तेमाल
got like
करेंगे. Very nice. Okay, thank you so much, Surpreet. पहले इस्तेमाल करेंगे फिर आंसर देंगे. अरे तो फिर बेस्ट है ना. You can take free tire. I gave you the free tire for Azure, right? You can just take it and you can explore Azure and let me know how it goes. You can connect with me on social media. You can get back to me. अरे भैया आशुतोष इज आस्किंग एश्योर के टी शर्ट में AWS और GCP कैसे बोले. अरे एश्योर का सेशन है इसलिए एश्योर का टी शर्ट पहना है. मेरे पास बाकी भी है GCP के. चाहिए तो कभी वो भी पहन के आ जाएंगे नेक्स्ट सेशन में. Lakshit, please call me for next session also, so I can come with
sure, sure.
Google T-shirt. Can you send the link here? Link for what? Oh, you did you share the GitHub Education Pack?
Yeah,
Link for GitHub
yeah,
Education
yeah.
Pack is shared, man.
Is
You can.
already shared. Okay, let me show it. This here it is, guys. I've shared it again. I just as
Yeah, so you can use that link. You can try out Azure.
just check out.
You can get back to me. Yeah, you are saying
Yes,
something.
yes. Yeah, what you can do is just check out the GitHub Developer Pack. You can access it with your college ID, and you will see there Azure. You can just search there. There are so many services that comes up with the GitHub Education Pack. So there is an additional perk of Azure. So any more questions? I guess we are done right now here. So thanks, Antariksh. You have taken this driving seat so well. It's so comfortable session I ever had. We will collab for sure in future and come up with more amazing sessions. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining. I hope you like this session and do subscribe the channel as we have planned a lot of things for you. Like Azure Developer Community has planned a lot of things for you right here. So the best part is we have a lot of things planned for you and do join our Discord server also because we have a great audience there discussing about these topics and all these things. So thanks. Let's wrap it up here. Happy learning, guys. See you in the cloud. That's my favorite phrase. See you in the cloud, guys.
Yes.